Hello, my name is Bradley Salzman, and today I will be talking to you about person-centered therapy, also known as client-centered therapy. I want to put an emphasis on this because I will use the term client throughout this presentation. Person-centered therapy was developed by Carl Rogers in the 1940s. Carl Rogers was a humanistic psychologist who agreed with the main assumptions of Abraham Maslow, although Rogers' type of therapy diverged from the traditional model of the therapist as an expert. Instead, person-centered therapy moves toward a non-directive, empathetic approach that empowers and motivates the client throughout the therapeutic process. Carl Rogers' purpose of this was to bring someone to congruence through an accepting and genuine environment with empathy and unconditional positive regard, rather than the traditional model of the therapist as an expert. Now, there are several different concepts in person-centered therapy. For the sake of the under 5-minute presentation, I'm going to focus on three of the main points or concepts and factors in person-centered therapy. And those are the fact that it is a client-paced therapy session or sessions. And second, the therapist needs to stay empathetic and offer unconditional positive regard throughout the entire process, and that the goal of the client-led therapy is to bring the client into congruence. So let's start with client-paced. Basically, the client's going to make all of the decisions and ultimately will decide their path and what is going to be best for them. And it is the job of the therapist to support, give resources, and techniques as needed. It's suggested that the therapist avoid directing the course of the therapy sessions because we want the client to control their own path. During the therapy that the client is leading, we will offer empathy and positive regard. Unconditional positive regard means that we will always accept and support the client no matter what they may disclose. This doesn't mean we have to agree with the client, but we will refrain from judgment because it's essential that the client feels valued by the therapist. And of course, empathy is the ability to put yourself into someone else's shoes. It should be noted that this is different from sympathy because sympathy is we feel bad for our client. As for empathy, we're trying to understand and relate to the experience. Now, the purpose of this style of therapy, like I've said previously, is to bring the client into congruence. It is thought that the client usually enters the therapy session in a state of incongruence, and we want to use empathy and unconditional positive regard to bring them into a state of congruence. To be functioning at an optimal level, the person must balance their ideal self with their real self, and this will bring them into the state of congruence. When that is achieved, they will become a highly functioning person and achieve their life goals. To that end, Rogers believed that a therapist must be genuine with the clients. To be effective, a client needs to believe that what this therapist is saying is true. This is a major diversion from much of psychodynamic psychology, where psychologists were encouraged to hide their true selves. But in person-centered therapy, we need to be genuine because we need to build a trust with our client and model a healthy relationship. And we ourselves need to exhibit congruence so that our client will be able to achieve a similar state. That's the basics of person-centered therapy, and I hope that I explained it thoroughly. If you would like more information on it, there are several links included in this YouTube video, and I hope you enjoyed it.